YouTube, welcome back to the channel. We're about to get into another reaction video. This one titled Mom Murders Kids So She Could Become a Rapper. Now, you gonna murder your kids so you can become a rapper. You couldn't be a rapper when you had a kid. Plenty of people do it. Plenty of people do it. Your song's probably not even fire like that for you to, you know what I'm saying, for you to go all in on being a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Your song's probably not even tough like that. Let's get into the video, man. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when I post new lit content on the channel. Let's get into it, man.
You have a duty to protect your children. No matter if you're going through a divorce, if your child is struggling developmentally, or in the case of today's mother, would rather focus on your rap career, your children need to come first. At first glance, it would appear this wretched excuse of a mom treated her children like an afterthought. But in reality, it was far more sinister than that.
Skylar Rose Gardner was born in early September of 2022.
Skylar.
She had a brother who was only 1 year older than her, and 3 half-siblings, the eldest of which was already an adult when she was born. Her mother, Chantel, announced Skylar's birth to the world on an Instagram post on September 8, 2022. It was accompanied with the song Free Mind by Thames. She captioned it, "God gave me something I never knew I needed. She brings peace to my crazy world." It was accompanied with the hashtag premature awareness, indicating Skylar was born early. Chantel admitted she felt closer to her older son than to Skylar. She described Skylar as an independent baby and toddler. Maybe it was a trait ingrained early in Skylar's short life. Chantel didn't spend much time with Skylar in the PICU since her son was only a year old when his sister was born and needed a caretaker.
Chantel Monet Bouye was born on November 23, 1991, which makes her 33 years old as of the date of this recording. She worked as an insurance collector for the company Rehab Medical. Her position was remote, but on days she needed to work in person, she had family or friends watch her children. Chantel had aspirations of being a rap artist, going under the names Chantel Monet, Shanny B, and Shanny B Music.
You was never gonna make it, shorty. You know what I'm saying? You was never gonna make it as a rapper. Your name's trash. You know what I'm saying? Your rap name, trash. Shanny B is trash, gang. You was never gonna make it, bro. You know what I'm saying? We just seen a little clip of you performing in front of a pool table at a bar. You killed your child so that you could rap in bars in front of pool tables under the name of Shanny B. You was never gonna make it, gang. Never.
Promoted herself on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and released her songs on Spotify and Apple Music. She even had some live performances at small venues and music festivals. Her Indiana criminal records show between 2010 and 2019 that she'd lived in at least 4 different residences, or at least had them as her mailing address. She also may have lived in Atlanta, Georgia for a short time, as indicated from her Facebook profile and a public background check service.
Chantel got married in July of 2017 and took her husband's last name, Gardner, as her own. Her husband had 3 older children from a previous relationship, one of which was named Godfather to his oldest child with Chantel. This would be the little boy that was born in September of 2021. The following year, they had Skylar. However, their relationship didn't work out, and soon after she was born, Skylar's parents filed for divorce. Chantel met Brian Thomas from networking in the music scene, and the two began dating. He also wanted to be a recording artist and branded himself under the names Beastie or Beastie Armstrong.
Oh my gosh, bro. These names, bro. They not catchy, bro. These names is not catchy, gang. If you're not gonna have a catchy name, just use your real name, bro. Just use your real name. These days, Shanny B and what was it, Boogie Armstrong or something like that? I don't know what it was, bro. That is not catchy, bro. It's not catchy. I forgot it already, and you just said it. You know what I'm saying?
A police affidavit with Chantel's statement implies that they were an item while the divorce process was ongoing. Like Chantel, Brian had numerous traffic violations on his criminal record, the earliest from 2005 when he would have been just 19 years old. But he also had charges for possession of weed, animal cruelty, and domestic battery. He was found guilty for the possession charges, but animal cruelty and domestic battery were dismissed. You heard that correctly. The state of Indiana cares more about smoking a plant than it does for the safety of humans and animals. This is why I hate people. Now, unlike Chantel, he did serve jail time for some of his charges.
Chantel lived in the Timber Point Apartments on Newberry Road. By the time this case made headlines, the apartment was disgusting. There's simply no nice way to put this. Overturned furniture, trash, dirty laundry, toys, and huge...
Bro, look at is that a mattress, gang? Oh my gosh, bro. And she trying to become a rapper. She trying to become a rapper, living her life like this. You know what I'm saying? She trying to become a rapper, living dirty like this, bruh. It's probably all types of roaches. She got roaches in here. She got mice in here. She got termites in here. Spiders somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Probably somewhere up in the corner somewhere. You know what I'm saying? She's stepping out the house in jersey skirts. You know what I'm saying? And jersey skirts. Come on, guy. That's, like I said before, you was never gonna make it.
Human waste made the apartment look like an episode of A&E's Hoarders. One can only imagine a strong, eye-watering, nauseating odor, though it wasn't always like this. Chantel said her living space used to be kept up. Not pristine, she had 2 young children after all, but it was enough that she wasn't embarrassed to have guests over. Her apartment was the primary meetup spot for her and Brian. It was convenient since she could still be there if her kids needed her. When her divorce was finalized on August 2nd, Chantel was living in Indianapolis while the children's father lived in Cincinnati, Ohio. Her now ex-husband was disabled, so he gave Chantel full custody of the kids. He did not think he could provide or care for the children the way they needed and deserved. He had tried multiple times to visit Skylar and her brother, or at least speak to them over the phone. Chantel made excuses or ignored him entirely. Though Chantel's ex-husband couldn't travel to see his children as often as he wanted to, his older children could. The final time they saw Skylar, they told their father that she and her brother smelled like urine.
A close friend said Chantel developed postpartum depression after Skylar's birth, which only worsened with the stress of her divorce. Chantel alleged that in July of 2024, she contacted her ex-husband. She was so overwhelmed that she asked him to care for the children. She even offered to send him money, but he did not take her up on the offer. One day, she stopped picking up after herself and her children. Between July and August of 2024, the mess became too much for Chantel to handle, so she stopped trying altogether. This extended to her children's daily needs. As the days went on, she gave them fewer baths, diaper changes, and meals.
See, postpartum, I hear a lot about what happens to women after having kids during like the postpartum depression stuff, and it could get heavy, gang. It could get heavy. Like it was this one time, this lady, she was going through postpartum, and I guess like the baby was just crying way too much, and she just snapped, and she ended up putting her baby in the oven. Turned the oven on, and I think she cooked the baby, you know, cooked the baby, gang. I think that's how it went. I know the baby was in the oven though. I know that, so I don't know if she cooked the baby or not, but the baby was in the oven though. You know what I'm saying? She was just in her. I know the interview. They asked her why she did it. She was just said that she wanted the baby to stop. So yeah, she for sure cooked the baby. Gang. She for sure cooked the baby, put it in the oven. You know what I'm saying? Postpartum is It can get heavy, bro. It can get heavy. I don't know how hard it is when they don't have a partner compared to when they do have a partner. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it seemed like that's what she was going through. But that's still no excuse to kill your baby though. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what it is. Like that, no, that's not a cut card. You know what I'm saying? That's not a cut card. Just because you going through postpartum, you ain't killing it. Don't kill your baby. You know what I'm saying? Killing your baby and then you try to become a rapper. No. You know what I'm saying? No. You don't get that bailout. No.
Chantel said she began leaving her children unattended as early as October of 2024. She said the first times were when she met with Brian Thomas in the apartment parking lot. She could spend alone time with him and regularly check on the children. Brian asked where Skylar and her brother were during these meetings, and it's unclear if he knew they were unsupervised at this time or if he thought there was a responsible, trusted adult in the apartment with them. Now, Chantel's son, who is autistic, had a habit of smearing his own excrement on the walls, and she stopped caring enough to clean up after him.
Oh my god.
Gradually, it accumulated until the smell filled the apartment. Chantel was under the impression that what her son was doing was normal, that he was cleaning up after himself in his dirty diapers the only way he knew how to. Of course,
Teach him. What? Bro, you just not fit to be a parent. Simple as that. You just not fit to be a parent. Like that's insane. That's insane to think that that's normal for a kid to just start just wiping his poop on the wall, and then you say that, oh, that's just the way that's the only way he knows how. You the parent, you teach him. It's crazy, bro. This junk just keeps getting crazier and crazier as the minute go on, gang.
a visit to the doctor or even a minute on Google would tell her that this is not normal. Scotolia, the medical term for this behavior, is rooted in sensory, medical, behavioral, or psychological issues. At best, he knew it would get his mother's attention as he couldn't speak. And at worst, he was in pain or extreme discomfort. Either way, Chantel did not answer her son's clear call for help.
Chantel soon made quick trips to the grocery store or to pick up takeout while leaving her children home alone. In her mind, she would be back at home soon enough. She claimed her children could be difficult and she would rather avoid public tantrums if she could. Chantel wasn't in denial that her apartment was disgusting. She knew, and one day she decided she just couldn't take it anymore. The obvious solutions would be to either clean it out by herself or with help, or to relocate altogether. She chose the second option. She didn't think that she should bring her children with her. She could be gone for hours.
Bro, when people do that, bro, when they leave an apartment a mess, bro. It is the worst, gang. It is the worst, bro. I think that's like just super disrespectful, irresponsible and disrespectful. You know, it just shows what type of character you have. Like, you gonna rent out an apartment, ruin the apartment, then leave the apartment and how you ruined it. For the people that work in the building to clean all that stuff up. Then the next tenant gotta move into that same apartment. Come on, bruh. Come on, like, I remember when I was living in Queens Manor, it was a family that was moving out of their apartment. And when I say they left everything in the apartment, gang, they left everything in the apartment. It's like they just up and left, bruh. You know what I'm saying? They just up and left. Everything was in there. And they just had to, they had to, people that worked in the complex, they just had to, you know what I'm saying? They had to clean it out. They had to clean everything out, had to put everything out. You know what I'm saying? Had people coming and snatching TVs, snatching couches. I'm sure the maintenance people got a few things. Like, it's crazy, bro. Just because you don't feel like taking the stuff with you or whatever. Like, come on. You don't feel like cleaning up. You know what I'm saying? You gonna leave your apartment like that because you don't feel like cleaning up.
Hours, even a day or two before returning to check up on them. She turned on YouTube to keep them entertained. The children particularly loved the channel Ms. Rachel. She basically treated them more like houseplants instead of the vulnerable children that they were. Chantel visited the apartment inconsistently to drop off food for her children and would clean them once a week or less. Skylar was said to have human waste caked into her hair, and Chantel would clean her daughter off in the apartment's shower.
Oh my gosh, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I hope she's in jail, gang. I hope she's in jail, bruh. And they is just whooping on her, bruh. Just beating on her, gang. Like, you gonna do that to your kid, bro? You gonna leave your kid like that? Like your baby. This is a child. This is a young baby. The baby got feces all in her hair. You know what I'm saying? She leaving a child for weeks, for days on end, a week or two, coming back, dropping food off, showering them once a week, dipping out and being gone for another day or like some days or a week or something. Come on, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Come on. That's why I feel like some people just don't need to be parents, gang. Some people just don't need to be parents, bruh. They too for self. They too for self, bruh. Too for self.
Skylar also constantly had severe diaper rash and possibly even an infection because she wasn't changed often as she should have been. Soon, Chantel realized she couldn't leave her children with family and friends or take them to the doctor. Someone would see their mistreatment and she would be ousted as a bad mother. She didn't even get her furnace repaired when it broke down, since the apartment maintenance team would see what had become of the living space.
Oh man.
Instead, borrowed a space heater from a coworker, and she figured that would solve that problem.
Oh my god.
She planned her visits home when she was expecting phone calls from family. She knew they would ask to speak with her children. She was ready to honor their requests, but would never plan in-person visits. By all accounts,
where are the signs, bro? The dudes that got her pregnant, I'm sure y'all seen signs, gang. Y'all had to seen some signs somewhere saying that, oh, she can't be a mom, gang. Like, she just can't be a mom. She cannot be the mother of my kids, gang. There should have been some type of sign somewhere, bruh. This is crazy. This is crazy, bruh. Ain't no way, bro. They must have just, you know what I'm saying? They must have been horny. You know what I'm saying? They must have been horny and wanted to, you know what I'm saying? Wanted to go crazy on something. Cause this is so irresponsible, bro. I hope she's rotting in jail, bro. I do. I hope she's rotting in jail, gang.
Chantel was well aware enough to know that she would get in trouble, but it was not enough for her to fix her mistakes before it was too late. It seems she was more worried about herself getting caught than the welfare of her own children.
Exactly, she's for
While
self.
Skylar and her brother
She's
were
for self.
hungry, cold, and stewing in dirty diapers, Chantel began to routinely spend the night at Brian's apartment. Brian's brother...
What Brian doing, bro? Is it Brian or Ryan? What he doing, gang? Like, you laid up with her, bro. You don't ask about the kids at no point in time, bro. You not like you be here a lot. I mean, like, a lot. And you don't ever bring your kids with you. What's up with that? Where your kids at? Like, you over here, you don't even call to check on them. Even if they is with somebody right now. You don't even call to check on them when you over here. You act like you single with no kids. What he doing, gang? He not asking these questions, bro. Something telling me that he was cool with how she was living, bro. And I just speak on the type of dudes that be, oh my gosh, bro. Oh my gosh, bro. This getting me hot. It's getting me hot. I ain't liking this. It's getting me hot, bro.
who lived with him estimates that Chantel visited 3 to 5 days every week. He knew Chantel had children, but he only saw them a total of 3 times.
That's what I'm saying, bruh. 3 times, bruh. You see her, she at your crib 3 to 5 times a week. You only seeing her kids 3 times out of the 3 to 5 times a week you've been seeing her, and y'all probably been seeing each other for months. For months. You not asking no questions, bro. You cool with the situation, guy. You cool with how she treating her kids. You know what I'm saying? You cool with that. You got her at your crib, bro. Go home. Go be your mom. Go home. Get out of my house. Go home. That's what you should have been saying, bro. Go home. You don't need to be here. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna be here, bring your kids. He probably didn't even want to be around her kids, bro. She was probably a sneaky link. You know what I'm saying? She thinking she about to have like a whole new found life and relationship with dude, and he treating her like a little sneaky link, bro. Like a little downside. You just come over to the crib, get a crush a few times, and dip out. You know what I'm saying? You could stay a few days. It's cool. You could dip out, get crushed, dip out. We ain't even gotta go out on dates. You just get crushed, dip out. That's what that was, bro. And that just speaks to the dude character, bro. She got kids, bro. She not raising her kids, man. She got kids. She not raising her kids, man. And she at your crib 3 to 5 times a week, getting crushed. I just speak to your character, bro. I hope you ain't got kids either, gang. You need to be in jail too, bro. That's on you too.
The final time was when they visited the apartment in December, celebrating Brian's 39th birthday. He said the children seemed fine. He did note that their feet had a red discoloration. Now, on January 25th, 2025, Chantel's friend, known only as L.A., invited the family to join hers for a day of fun at Chuck E. Cheese. L.A. was one of Chantel's go-to sitters before she left the kids completely unattended, but she hadn't seen the children in person since Halloween. Chantel didn't give much of an answer to L.A.'s invitation. In the evening, Chantel arrived at the apartment with food. Only this time, she would be faced with the consequences of her neglect.
Chantel entered her apartment at 6:30 p.m. intending to give her children their dinner, or so she said. Her son came when she called, but Skylar did not respond. Chantel searched the apartment for her daughter, only to make a grim discovery. Chantel found Skylar underneath a dresser. She was in a state of rigor mortis, the stiffening of muscles after death, which can start 2 hours after a person passes away and last up to 2 days. She was covered in bruises, frostbite, and bite marks. One of these bite marks is theorized to be from a rat gnawing at the 2-year-old's body.
Oh my god.
Chantel didn't call emergency services right away. First, she changed Skylar out of her dirty shirt and called Brian. She later told police she didn't want to call him. Not from the shame of being a neglectful mother, but the shame of her disgusting apartment.
Oh, I want to. What, bro? What is she on? What is she on, bruh? That's what I'm saying, bro. People gotta be held accountable, bro. You gotta, bruh. Ain't no way if you a clear-minded dude, bro. You a clear-minded dude. You ain't even gotta be a clear-minded dude. You could be a dude that's schizophrenic. You know what I'm saying? You could be a schizophrenic, one syndrome, one chromosome having dude, bro. And you can see that she's not fit, bro. You can see that. Come on, gang. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, bro. Oh my gosh. I hope she's in jail, gang. I hope she's in jail getting the worst type of treatment, bro. The worst type of treatment.
Brian answered her call. He came to the apartment, but waited in the apartment common area. When Chantel finally called 911, police and firefighters arrived within minutes. The moment Detective Caitlin Harris entered the apartment, she was hit with a strong, repulsive stench. She couldn't even see the floor as they navigated the residence. An affidavit described the environment in detail. And I quote, "Upon entry into the apartment, Detective Caitlin Harris was hit with an overwhelming smell of feces. The apartment floors were covered in human feces, garbage, chicken bones, fast food bags, opened barbecue sauce containers, clothing, toys, other debris, knocked over furniture, and household items. The floors were littered with the above items, and more to the point, Detective Harris and crime lab technician Blakely Watson had no choice but to step on the items as they were walking through. Multiple areas of the walls were covered in feces, what appeared to be barbecue sauce, and other unknown substances, including a baby crib and mattress that had feces layered on them."
Inside of the apartment was also cold, reported to be between 46 to 51 degrees Fahrenheit. The accumulation of spoiled food, trash, sharp objects, and human waste was so bad that investigators would later determine the apartment to be a biohazard. While the scene seemed to suggest that Skylar was crushed underneath a dresser, investigators were doubtful that truly happened to her. Now, Skylar was small, but the dresser was remarkably light. They did not think the dresser alone killed Skylar. Their suspicions only grew after Skylar's brother was examined at Riley Children's Hospital. Medical professionals said he had many overall signs that he was severely neglected. It's reported that Skylar's brother was possessive of the hospital food that he was served. He devoured it desperately and had a strong emotional reaction when someone tried to take away his plate. He ate so fast that nurses stepped in to get him to slow down. His stomach was distended from being so constipated, and his feet were swollen. He also had scars from hyperpigmentation. When Skylar's father was told that his 2-year-old daughter was no longer in this world, he crossed state lines that day to help the detectives. He told them he hadn't seen his children in person since Thanksgiving of 2024. He tried to speak with them on the phone through video calls, but Chantel only let them speak once. The last time Skylar's father spoke with her, she was cuddled up on her mother's chest, drifting to sleep. Skylar was one of 4 Indianapolis children who died in January of 2025. One of these children, a 3-year-old named Asher Robinson, passed away on January 25th, the same day that Skylar did. He was pronounced dead at Riley Children's Hospital, the same hospital Skylar's brother was taken to for evaluation. The similarities are striking.
A probable cause affidavit was signed by Detective Caitlin Harris on January 30th. It details the night police were called to Chantel's apartment and the following few days of investigation. With this, we can build a timeline of events after Skylar's passing. Chantel was brought in for questioning the same night Skylar died. She gave some necessary background information, including what she did for work. She worked remotely, but when she needed to go to work in person, Brian or LA cared for Skylar and her brother. Detective Harris noted in the affidavit that Chantel's timeline changed throughout the questioning. Chantel eventually settled on a series of events, which was recounted in the affidavit. And I quote, Chantel said that since December 9th, LA had only watched the children 3 times. She said her son needed a haircut, so she took him to Brian's residence where she dropped him off. Once home, she became anxious and needed a break, so she took Skylar inside and returned outside to sit in her car. She said she went back inside and began looking for Skylar, who she later found underneath the dresser in the kids' room, lying on her back.
That story don't even sound right, bro.
She said she called Brian and 911, performed CPR, and then carried Skylar outside to her car just as the Indiana Fire Department was pulling up. However, Chantel backtracked again. She didn't drop her son off with Brian. He was in the home and came to the door when she arrived. Skylar didn't come running to greet her as usual. Chantel said she just knew that something was wrong. She said she found Skylar motionless under the dresser. The affidavit reads, she said Skylar didn't deserve that because it was like adding insult to injury.
When questioned by police, Chantal said she knew what she was doing was neglect, but she insisted she never physically harmed them or committed any acts of SA, as if that's the only way you can harm your child. She said she understood why leaving children alone was dangerous if they were unsupervised, but I don't really feel she actually got the weight of what she was doing. Now, Brian was also brought in for questioning. He initially reaffirmed Chantal's original story.
Bro, what is he doing? Come on, gang. Come on, bro. It's like they both just in cahoots with just killing kids, bruh. You know what I'm saying? They both in cahoots with just killing kids, gang. That's exactly what that is, bruh. Cause that don't make no sense, bruh. You know what I'm saying? He should be in jail too, bruh. Getting the worst type of treatment. The worst. Both of them in jail with the worst type of treatment, gang.
That she dropped her son with him and took Skylar home, but he then admitted to lying to protect his girlfriend. He told detectives Chantal spent many nights in his apartment without her children present. He believed Chantal when she said her kids were staying with friends or family. The last time he saw the children was in December of 2024 when they visited for his birthday. Before that, he saw them once a week at most.
In addition, the police spoke with LA, Chantal's friend who watched the children on occasion. She last saw Skylar and her brother in person on Halloween of 2024, and they appeared to be clean and cared for. She spoke with them over a video call on January 6th, and she noted Skylar's hair looked messy and that they were at Brian's apartment. LA's final words about Chantal and Skylar were paraphrased in the affidavit, and I quote, LA stated she had no idea the kids were staying home alone. She said she hadn't been inside Chantal's apartment in a long time, probably several months. She said Skylar's brother has never been verbal. She said Chantal had postpartum depression after having Skylar and going through a divorce. LA said many people would have taken the children if Chantal needed help. No one knew she was leaving the kids home alone. She said they have a group of friends who all would have stepped up. She said she and Chantal talked every day or every other day. Sometimes she didn't answer, but they talked at least weekly.
Chantal was initially arrested for neglect of a dependent, but her charges were increased to murder. She was denied bond and had no contact orders filed against her. Brian was also charged with assisting her in lying to investigators. Chantal and Brian's cars were seized and towed to a crime lab facility. After they were processed, investigators took DNA samples as well as photographs. Police also admitted other items into evidence, including their phones, a receipt dated January 24th, and a firearm and magazine that was found in Brian's car.
Skylar's autopsy was performed on the 27th by Dr. Christopher Poulos of the Marion County Coroner's Office. His findings were summarized in the January 30th affidavit. I quote, Dr. Poulos noted external injuries of what appeared to be multiple bite marks on Skylar, frostbite on her feet and hands, and round patterned bruising approximately 3/4 to 1 inch in diameter, potential from a PVC pipe or furniture, etc. In addition to the injuries listed above, Dr. Poulos noted multiple injuries believed to be post-mortem, including the puncture wound found on Skylar's neck. These were believed to have been from a rodent. Internal injuries were also noted by Dr. Poulos and included subcutaneous bruising throughout Skylar's body, a right frontal bruise, and hemorrhagic pancreatin, possibly due to hypothermia. Dr. Poulos said Skylar was dehydrated as well and had hair and unknown contents, possibly feces, in her stomach. Skylar also had possible paint chips, hair, and foreign bodies in her intestines. As of now, Dr. Poulos believes Skylar died of hypothermia.
Bro, no kid should go through that, gang. No kid should go through that, bro. That is so messed up, bro. So messed up, bro. I don't care if you going through postpartum, prepartum, or current partum, bro. No kid should go through that. No kid, bro. You depressed, you know what I'm saying? You depressed going through a divorce and all that. Tighten up. You know what I'm saying? Tighten up. Like, I don't care what you got going on. Tighten up. You could be losing your mind. Tighten up. You know what I'm saying? Like the dude allowing her to stay at the crib knowing that she got kids and they taking care of the kids. He only seen them 3 times. They've been dating for months. You go to the crib to celebrate your 39th birthday. That's when you go to the crib. You go to her house to celebrate your 39th birthday. You ain't see nothing going on, bruh. You know what I'm saying? You ain't seen nothing. Bro.
Detectives also reached out to a nurse practitioner on the Riley Children's Hospital Child Protection Team. They learned that the bruise patterns on Skylar was suspicious for non-accidental trauma consistent with inflicted trauma, meaning there was little chance that Skylar was injured by accident. While Skylar's brother was starving and in need of medical attention, the nurse practitioner eventually noted that his hair was recently cut and his nails were trimmed. The boy displayed signs of underdeveloped cognitive ability and gradually warmed up to the medical professionals treating him. On January 28th, Brian's brother spoke to the detectives. He said Chantel spent at least 4 overnight visits in the apartment between January 19th and 25th. He worked nights, so they saw each other as he was returning home and she was leaving for the day. The children were absent, but Chantel acted perfectly fine. He didn't ask her directly where the kids were, but Brian told him they were being watched by one of Chantel's friends.
On the 29th, detectives met with Chantel for a follow-up interview. She's being held in the Marion County Adult Detention Center. Chantel gave more detailed descriptions about her hands-off parenting. She defended herself by saying it was easier to leave her children at home than take them with her because, according to her, they weren't the most well-behaved. She was convinced Brian could smell the apartment on her as well, but was too polite to say anything to her face, so she didn't even return home to shower.
Bro, what? Too polite to say something. Bro. She stank, bro. Say something. She at your crib 4 nights in a row. Say something. Ain't nobody finna watch somebody kids for 4 nights in a row every week just so that she can sleep at your house, gang. Use your head, bro. Use your head. Like, this is your girl, right? Eventually you're gonna wanna meet her kids. Have her kids come to the crib. Why you ain't never had her kids come to the crib? If she at the crib for 4 nights in a row, have her bring the kids for 4 nights in a row. You know what I'm saying? Or do something, bro. Have the kids at the crib at some point, bro. Like, they both was just too comfortable with leaving kids by themselves and not treating kids how they supposed to be treated. Simple as that, bro. They was too comfortable with the neglect. Now they both in jail, bro. And I hope they stay in there, cuz I do, bro. Crimes against kids is never okay, bro. Never okay. I don't care what you got going on, bro. You can be super out of your mind. You understand? You can have the most trauma in the world, bro. Crimes against kids is never okay in no circumstance, bro. No circumstance.
She came back to clean the children once a week, give them food, and when she was expecting a video call, because according to her, she knew they were only calling to speak to the children. Chantel also explained her apartment's furnace wasn't working, hence the space heater in the living room. She said she knew if she reported the furnace to apartment maintenance, she would be outed for the neglect of her children and for the biohazard that was in their living space. Chantel's follow-up interview displays her as self-aware and rational enough to know she would face consequences if she was caught. And I quote, she explained that the smell became overwhelming inside the residence, so she stopped taking the children into public because of their odor from the residence/environment.
Then clean up and give them a shower.
In addition, she explained she stopped taking the children to their doctor's appointments due to their hygiene and smell. She said she understood the potential consequences of her improper care. She was aware of the consequences of them reporting her to Department of Child Services and or taking the children away. Chantel said she knew/understood the consequences of what could happen while leaving a 2- and 3-year-old child alone. Police Sergeant Nicole Flynn said to the Indianapolis Star newspaper, "No child's death from unnatural causes is ever acceptable. Each investigation is heartbreaking, whether a crime is involved or not. Losing a child is an unimaginable tragedy, and we grieve for and alongside the families in every case."
Brian Thomas had a warrant out for his arrest, but he was MIA from January 26th to January 30th. During this time, he spoke with Chantel via phone call. She was in jail at the time. He recorded the call and they were published on the Facebook profile for the news site Black Indy Live. In this call, he confronts Chantel for her treatment of her children and the abhorrent state of her apartment. Chantel admitted to her wrongdoings and expressed confusion as to why detectives were pursuing Brian. She said, "I don't know why they keep including you. Like you wouldn't even be a part of this shit." Chantel also tried to explain her mental health issues and her wish for self-improvement, which ultimately never came to pass. When Brian asked plainly why she didn't ask for help and stated he would have put the children first, she was quiet. Finally, she said, "I didn't want to be a burden." Comments on the Black Indy Live post speculate Brian is trying to cover for himself and that he knew more than he let on. He did lie in his initial police interrogation to protect Chantel, and that puts his integrity into question in the eyes of the public and the justice system.
Yeah, nobody
He will
believe in that
very
phone call,
likely
gang.
still be in the dark about what he knew until the trial. Brian was booked into jail on January 30th and was forced to make a court appearance through a writ of body attachment. He has made his $6,000 bond.
Skylar's father.
They gave this nigga bond, bro. They gave this nigga bond, gang. Why they give him bond, bro? Why they do that, bro? Like, he, bro. Listen. I said this before and I'ma say it again, bro. If you have her at your crib for 4 nights out of the week, bro, there's only 7 days in a week. That's 3 days you not seeing her. You don't see her for 3 days, bro. But you seeing her for 4 nights. She's spending the night at your house. She leaving in the morning the same time your brother get home. You know what I'm saying? She's telling you, oh, somebody's watching their kids. Every time, bro. Every time. Like, come on, bro. For 4 nights. Somebody watching the kids for 4 nights. Every week for months. Come on, bruh. And y'all trying to be rappers, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, cut that out. Cut that out. You 40. Cut that out. Cut that out. Both of y'all. Cut that out. You know what I'm saying? You trying to be a producer. She trying to be a rapper. Cut that out. Like, what's wrong with y'all, bruh? What's wrong with y'all? Y'all need to get a grip. Get a grip on reality, gang. You should have known that she wasn't taking care of her kids, bro. You should have known that. And she should have did a better job at raising her kids, bro. I understand you going through postpartum, you know what I'm saying? That happens. But child neglect, no. You know what I'm saying? No. We ain't having that, no. You got your kids putting feces on the wall, eating feces, eating paint chips, eating hair because they ain't got nothing to eat, smelling like feces, smelling like pee. They both should be in jail, bruh. He should not be free. He should not be free, bruh. The fact that he made bond, bro, he should not be outside right now, gang. I know he probably like in the house on house arrest or whatever, but he should be behind bars, bruh. But trust and believe, bruh, when he gotta go back to his hearing or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and he gotta stand in front of the judge and the judge gonna hear all this stuff, he gonna get time. And one thing in jail, bruh, them dudes, bro, people who hurt kids, people who be, you know what I'm saying, graping, bro, they have a hard time in jail, gang. A hard time. A very hard time. Them dudes is gonna press your line, bro. They is gonna press your line. They gonna ask you if you was laying with her, why in the heck didn't you see the kids? Y'all was dating for how many months? Enough months for you to celebrate a 39th birthday at her crib. Why you ain't see her kids? They gonna see this video too, bro, because they got internet in jail. They got phones now. They got computers, bro. Oh, you about this, boy? You about to become a Twinkie, gang. I ain't gonna lie. They about to turn you into a Twinkie. You know what I'm saying? You about to be straight Twinkie edition, bro. Straight. What's it? The ho ho. You about to become a ho ho, a Swiss roll. You know what I'm saying? All that, bro. It's ridiculous. Look at her, bro. Beautiful little girl, bro. Beautiful little baby. You know what I'm saying?
Her and half siblings planned a balloon release in her memory on Valentine's Day with pink and purple balloons. They had to cancel this event, but they soldiered on. Just a reminder, the Misery Machine does not condone balloon release memorials due to their impact on wildlife and the environment. Instead, they organized a donation of new clothes, toys, and books for Skylar's 3-year-old brother. The oldest half-sibling posted a photo of the donation pile along with the caption, "The family of Skylar Gardner would like to extend their gratitude for those that have donated to her brother. We really appreciate it. We are forever grateful and are firm believers that what God has for you is for you, and he's the only one that can take it from you." Chantel and Brian's trial is set to begin in April of this year. They will both be tried together by Judicial Officer Charles F. Miller, though they have different attorneys. Chantel will be represented by Lucy Frick and Shelby Van Hoos. Brian will be represented by Philip Hayes. 4 attorneys are set to represent the state of Indiana, prosecuting both Chantel and Brian. The maximum penalty for Chantel's crimes is 40 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. If she is convicted, she would be in her 70s upon her release. Since Brian faces lesser charges, his sentence will be lighter if he is served one at all. As always, both of the accused are considered innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. As of the date of this recording in February of 2025, there is yet to be a funeral service or public obituary for Skylar. As there are no recent developments, her story has not received further reports. As with many active true crime cases, her name and story will be reported again during Chantel's trial, but we will have to wait and see to what extent. We hope that justice will be served and that Skylar's brother is in a much safer place now, free from the filth and neglect that took his little sister from him.
Bro. That's so heavy, bro. That's so heavy, gang. Like, some people just aren't fit to be parents, bro. And I feel like you can see that. Like, it's signs of that, bro. Like, whether you a man or a woman, you dating somebody, bro, you see that person is not taking care of their kids. They not being around their kids as much as they should be, bro. They not good parents, bro. Stop trying to date them. You know what I'm saying? Stop trying to date them. Like, but I don't understand why he's not even getting it. It's a possibility that he might not get charged with nothing. I don't understand that at all. I do not understand that. He played a part in it too, bruh. He allowing it, gang. Enablers, bruh. I went over the whole enabler thing in the 600-pound life video, bruh. And enablers are just as bad as the actual people, bruh. They just as bad, if not worse. You know what I'm saying? They just as bad, if not worse. That's going to be it for the video, man. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when I post new content on the channel. Until next time, man. Deuces.